Hello friends, my name is Dr. Jigisha Singh. In this video, I am going to continue from my last lecture, which was lecture 12, uploaded on 14th March 2026. Well, I was on last natures of minors agreement. A minor can always enforce an agreement which is for his benefit, advantage, object of the principle is to prevent exploitation of the minor. Where benefit is for the minor, he is given an option to enforce it. Other party cannot enforce it even if it is for the benefit of the minor. Next is where a minor has fully performed his part of the contract, he can enforce the contract against the other party. The only requirement is whatever minor was required to do the same has been done by him. Ratification by minor of an agreement on attaining majority entered into during minority always void except where there is a new contract, new consideration. Even if part of the consideration is old, it is valid. For example, M borrows from B a loan of rupees 10,000. M is a minor here. B cannot legally claim the amount as agreement is void. And even if minor enters into a new agreement on attaining the age of majority to repay rupees 10,000, it is still void. Now, for example, minor M attains majority and obtains a loan of rupees 1 crore from B. Now, M repays rupees 1 crore and a previous 10,000. Such repayment is valid even if part of the consideration is old. For ratification to begin, there must be a contract. Next, agreement relating to marriage of the minor can always be enforced by the minor. As it is considered to be for the benefit of the minor. The Indian Apprenticeship Act agreement for a training of a minor in some trade to enable him to get some job is valid. It is considered to be for the benefit of the minor. Indian Specific Relief Act 1877 and 1963. These are the two acts. One is the old act, the other is the new act. Now, three important bases for specific relief act is this statute is based on justice, equity, and good conscience. The underlying philosophy of the statute is twofold. Law will not allow a person to take advantage of his own fraud. He who seeks the help of equity must himself do equity. Section 33 of the New Specific Relief Act 1963 and Section 39 of the Old Specific Relief Act 1877. The old act provides only when minor files a suit in the court of law, that is, M is plaintiff seeking a declaration that agreement entered to by him is void. Declaratory suit. In such a case, before granting relief to the minor, the court may direct the minor to reimburse the benefits to the other party which he had received under the agreement. The status is beneficial to the other part. The statute is beneficial to the other party, but other party was without remedy. Benefits are reimbursed from the minor to the other party as equity demands. For example, minor enters into agreement with B, where minor induces B to believe that he is a major. M is guilty. Minor is guilty of for fraud. Equity demands benefit must be returned. Relief is based on the principle of justice, equity, and good conscience. The other party must himself prove equity. That is, the other party must act bona fide in good conduct before the court. The old act does not apply if minor is a defendant. It only applies when minor is a plaintiff. Conditions of the Specific Relief Act are the agreement must be in writing, the minor must be a plaintiff. If the above two conditions are fulfilled before granting a relief to the minor, the court may require him to refund whatever benefits he had received from the other party. The court brings to a situation as if there was no agreement and the other party but the other party cannot claim compensation. The difference between old act and new act is that the new act, the minor can be either plaintiff or defendant and the rest is same. For example, minor takes a loan from B and a mortgage deed is executed in favor of B for a part of the loan. A mortgage deed applies to immovable property and a pledge for movable property. Now, minor refuses to pay back the loan and B gets the property sold against the loan through the court. Now, can B get the property sold? Yes, through the court, because court would never go into the background of an agreement. The court would simply enforce the mortgage deed. Under such situation, M minor would file a suit. Minor is a plaintiff and B has got the property sold in spite of the agreement being void. Here, B can claim relief only when he acted bona fide, that is, he was innocent and was not aware that M is a minor. But if B was aware that M is a minor and in spite of this B enters into agreement with minor, here B cannot claim any relief as he acted mala fide and not bona fide and B is guilty of misconduct. Now we move on to supply of necessaries of life to a minor or to a person whom the minor is legally bound to support. For example, minor is legally bound to support his family members like mother and sister. In UK, such contract is always enforceable. That is against the minor. In India, such agreement is not a contract. However, Section 68 of the Indian Contract Act provides that such an agreement can be enforced against the property of the minor. As a general rule, wherever there is a contract, it is enforced against the party personally. Since the agreement with the minor is not a contract, concession is given to by enforcing it against the property of the minor and not him personally. In a case where M has no property, minor has no property, agreement is void, it is not enforceable and the other party is without remedy. For example, A supplies necessaries on credit to M minor. Agreement is void. There is no contract, and A is without remedy. Under such situation, Section 68 of the Indian Contract Act comes to the rescue of the other party. He can enforce the agreement against M's property. Now, what are necessaries of life? All things, objects which are essential for physical existence of a person. Minimum basic necessities of life are all necessaries of life. All things which are essential for the mental development of a human being have also been held to be necessities of life, like education, training in sports, art, etc. The question of necessities of life depends upon the social status of a particular minor. Section 68 itself provides necessities of life suited to his status in the society, so status is relevant. For example, necessities of life for a child of a president would be different from that of a rickshaw puller. The question of necessities of life depends upon the occasion, purpose, and use for which they have been meant, supplied for. For a child of a constable, ornaments are not necessaries of life. But if there is a marriage of his or her sister, then ornaments becomes necessity. If loan taken for gambling purposes, it is not a necessity. Goods of luxury are never necessaries of life. To invoke Section 68 of the Indian Contract Act. The two conditions that are essential under this section is the goods supplies must be necessaries of life. On the date of supply, the miner should not be already in possession of the sufficient quantity of the good of the kind of good supplied to him by the other party. With this, I conclude. In the next lecture, I will be discussing cases on capacity to contract, invitation to offer, invitation to offer, and government contracts.